Well, welcome back to the farm for the final whistle watch of the series. Don't cry about it. There may have only been 2 internationals on the weekend, but there was plenty of stuff to talk about. A lot of you have been talking on social media about Elspeth's try in the England-South Africa game. I'll answer your Emirates fans question. There's also a quiz for me to answer on 2022. Let's start off with Whistle Watch. England-South Africa, hugely physical game. And now then let's look at the Elspeth try. A lot of you discussing this and talking about this. A lot going on here. So first of all, what we have. Look at Owen Farrell. Does he roll away and give a clear release, which means that the ball carrier can then place the ball quickly and away if he wants to. Then you have the question, does Faf de Klerk actually knock the ball on? And then Elspeth, when he scores a try, he actually is still on the ground. So a lot of things here for the referee to process. Now, the key thing here to start off with is Elspeth cannot play that ball until he gets back on his feet, which means then the try should not have been allowed because Elspeth is still on the ground. And the rule in rugby, the most important law in the game is, what everybody knows, on the ground, you're out of the game. So let's sum it all up then. 3 things going on. First offence, Owen Farrell not releasing and rolling away. Itoje, he's on his feet. He should be allowed to win that jackal turnover. Elspeth then scores a try. He should be on his feet before he plays the ball. So, try should not have been given. The penalty would have been to Itoje, but you go back to the first offence, which was a penalty against Owen Farrell for not releasing and rolling away. If the referee felt that was cynical play, then a yellow card may well have followed for Farrell as well. To sum it all up here, no try, but a penalty against England, 5 metres out for Owen Farrell, not releasing in the tackle. We've had a few red cards to discuss over the last couple of weeks. Another one here, Thomas White. This is pretty straightforward. He comes in high, leading with the shoulder, makes direct contact with the head, a straightforward red card. How many times have we discussed? Get those tackles lower and make a legal wrap as well. Straightforward, red card, no discussion. No debate on this one. So South Africa trying to clear their own line here. They kick the ball and it hits the spider cam. What happens next? Well, this happened to me out in Sydney actually. England against Australia out there back in 2016. It is then a scrum to the team who last play the ball. So the officials give the right outcome, a scrum, to South Africa, but it should be where the ball hit the spider cam. Obviously, not in the air, but on the ground below it. So it should have been a scrum below where the spider cam was, not back 5 metres from where they kicked it from. Okay, so let's go to Cardiff. Wales arguably losing to Australia in the last couple of minutes of the game. The Tipperick trip and yellow card. Pretty straightforward. You can't trip a player in the game. Sometimes in law, that should be a red card as well, but on this occasion, a yellow card is correct. What you've been asking is, why not a penalty try? Well, it's probably too far out for a penalty try. Remember what I said last week? For a penalty try, you have to think that a try probably would have been scored. So if you think Australia would have probably scored here, then Tipperick gets the yellow card, and there's also a penalty try as well. But I don't think you can say there's a try probably going to be scored here because it's too far out. So correct decision, yellow card for the trip, but no penalty try on this occasion. Now then, the Ryan Lalias yellow card, which results in a penalty try. Now then, if the ball travels over the goal line, the maul ends. Then you are able to take the maul down. But because the ball is still in the field of play, Ryan Elias is still in the field of play, you cannot then illegally or willfully collapse that maul. And because he does so, the referee felt that if that hadn't happened, and here's the key again, Australia would have probably scored, and therefore we have a yellow card to Ryan Elias and a correct penalty try given as well. Right then, time for your Emirates fans question. Now let's start with Shah on Twitter asks, I'm rugby, when I'm in holy, I'm at Hereford's. I bet you listen to this and thinking, what the hell has he just said? Well, Shah's asked about rugby. I was going to ask about the Hereford's cattle. That's obviously in Welsh. Well, the Hereford cattle are doing very well, thank you. Eating away and enjoying themselves. Jelly H, Andrews Roberts asks, should the TMO be the main referee? No. The less we hear from the TMO, the better. The main referee should be on the field. Let him get on with his job. and only use a TMO as a last resort. My personal view is the TMO at the moment is being used too much in the game. We need less, not more. So no, keep the main referee on the pitch. Actually, if the TMO did become the main referee of the game, maybe I could referee on the TMO truck. No, keep it on the field. Lauren May asks, questions for you. Are you allowed to deliberately knock the ball backwards so long as the ball remains in play? This is a very, very good question. What you can't do is deliberately knock the ball forward. So we're not doing that here. You're deliberately knocking it backwards, which is well within the law because you can knock it backwards. Now, the key thing is here. What you can't do is deliberately knock the ball out of the field of play. So what you need to decide is this. Was the player deliberately knocking the ball out of the field of play, which means it's an offence, could land up as a penalty try, and certainly a yellow card for the player as well, or was he deliberately knocking the ball backwards to prevent the player getting it? That is what the referee has to decide. If you feel you deliberately knocked it out of the field of play, it's an offence. If you feel you deliberately knock it backwards, but then it lands up going out of the field of the play, then that would not be foul play and not an offence. Gary Hagman asks, or Hageman, I'm not sure how you say your surname, is it time for decision review system in rugby? So do you mean like a captain's appeal, do you? They did trial that and I don't think it works for the game because what is happening, you have people just hoping rather than actually thinking something needed to be appealed. You've got plenty of technology in the game now, too much for my own liking, so there shouldn't be an excuse for things not being done correctly or seeing the right outcomes or decisions. So my answer is quite simple. No, I don't think there is. And that's it. Thanks very much for all your Emirates fans questions. And I'm going to have a little quiz now. How much do I remember from the international rugby scene in 2022? Right, it's time to find out with the quiz of the year. Right then, time for quiz of the year. Let's look back at 2022. Question 1, Six Nations. France took the Grand Slam of the Six Nations, but who did they beat in the final game in Paris to clinch it? Was it Ireland, Wales, England or Scotland? I remember watching that game. It was England for sure. Question 2, Women's Six Nations. England won the Women's Six Nations. Which Red Roses legend won their 100th cap against Ireland? Was it A, Sarah Hunter, B, Emily Scarlett, C, Marley Parker, D, Lydia Thompson? Scarlett rings a bell. I'm pretty sure it's Emily Scarlett. Correct, it was. Question 3, Summer Tours. Ireland claimed a historic series win in New Zealand. Where did they win the decisive third test? Wellington, Auckland, Dunedin and Hamilton. I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure they always finish off in Eden Park, don't they? So I'll say Eden Park. Is that correct? Oh, I was wrong. It was Wellington, was it? Oh well, shows how much I know. Question 4, the Rugby Championship. New Zealand won a dramatic Rugby Championship, but which All Black topped the try-scoring charts? Will Jordan, Jody Barrett, Caleb Clark or Samsoni Tokihaho? Caleb Clark? Oh, it was Tokihaho, the hooker. I got that one wrong. Question 5, Women's World Cup. New Zealand won the Women's World Cup, beating England in the final. How many games had the Red Roses won in a row before that? Was it 20, 25, 30 or 35? Oh, 35 is a lot. 30, 20, 25. Oh, it was 30. Question 6. The last one, thankfully. The biggest shock of the Autumn Nations Series came when Georgia beat Wales 13-12 at the Principality Stadium. Who kicked the winning points? Was it Luka Matava? I don't need to read the other names out. I remember it well. It was Luka Matkava. I got 3 to 6, so that's 50%, which is better than I got in any exam in school. And let me know how you got on in the comments below. And there we have it, the final Whistle Watch of 2022. But don't worry, we'll be back early on in 2023. But before we go, our thoughts to the family of Doddy Weir, who passed away recently. Our sincere condolences. He was a great rugby player, but more importantly, he was a great man. See you next year.